So OnePlus just introduced the OnePlus 7 Pro. Is it the phone that they needed to release in 2019, or is it something else? Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech, so honest it hurts. If this is your first time here and you would like to come back again sometime soon, that would be awesome. You could like, subscribe, bell, notify yourself so that can happen. And if you've been here before and come back again, I have to say one more time how much I really appreciate it. Hashtag Wizard Squad. So, to the business at hand, OnePlus 7 Pro. An interesting... Everybody's always really interested in what OnePlus is going to do from one year to the next, because first they were like the flagship killer budget phone that gave you everything the flagships gave you, but at a much lower price. Now, over the past couple of years, they have been moving into the flagship price range slowly but surely. This year, they have offered us the OnePlus 7 Pro, which is, for everything that I see, probably the best looking phone they've offered. It's probably the most advanced phone they've offered. It has a lot going for it, but let's talk about what it has going for it, what's good, what's bad, and maybe my ultimate takeaways from watching the event and getting a sense of what the OnePlus 7 Pro is. First, let's cover the specs. I'm going to try and not utilize any of their marketing buzzword type stuff and just tell you what the phone has to offer. It's got an AMOLED screen that they're calling Fluid AMOLED, so 93% screen to body ratio though, and it has a fingerprint sensor that is fast. 0.21 seconds to open your phone. The display is their first Quad HD. It's got what they're calling a horizon light for notifications. If you've ever seen Samsung's edge lighting, that's the same thing. The big deal about the screen is the 90 Hertz refresh rate. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about Hertz, 60 frames per second is what is typical in smartphones and that kind of stuff these days. Razer offers the Razer phone at 120 Hertz, which is basically twice as fast as a regular screen. Now, OnePlus is coming in at 90 Hertz, which is going to make scrolling on the phone a little bit smoother. It's going to make things look a little bit nicer, but on a day-to-day basis, I don't know that it's really that huge a difference. Some people say yes, some people say no. When they started to dig further into the hardware, they talked about their selfie camera. OnePlus is releasing this phone. The screen has no notch, no hole punch, no nothing like that. It has a motorized selfie cam, and that's something that a lot of people are always skeptical of. Moving parts in a phone make people nervous. I can understand. Things could fail. Things could fail, but OnePlus did their best to show us how that might not be an issue, because they picked up like a 40-something pound block of cement with the camera module, so they're hanging out the camera module. And then they said they tested it for 300,000 opens, and it was good for 300,000 opens. That's something like 150 opens every day for 5 years or something like that. There's even a video that you can watch on YouTube that's 12 hours long that is just the selfie cam opening and closing. I don't know what kind of entertainment value you'll get out of that, but I guess for the marketing purposes, it does make the point. Will this pop-up selfie cam be something worth having, or will it be not good? That remains to be seen. They also touted their new cameras. Basically, they have a very similar camera system to the S10 and S10 Plus. This year, they've got 3 camera modules. They scored 111 on DxO Mark. I still don't know anything about what DxO Mark is. Like, Google pulled the rabbit out of the hat with DxO Mark, and who knows where they came from. DxO is obviously something that existed before, but they didn't seem to rate smartphone cameras until a few years ago with Google. And so 111 DxO Mark score, if that means anything to you, then great. If it doesn't, you're probably just like the rest of us. One thing of note in terms of hardware, they do have UFS 3 storage, which it means it's faster storage than the UFS 2 that everybody else has. To round out the hardware, we have a Snapdragon 845, an Adreno 640, I believe it is, for the GPU. You can get 6, 8, or 12 gigabytes of RAM, and this phone has liquid cooling, so whatever. 4,400 milliamp hour battery, warp charge, where in 20 minutes you get a 50% charge, dual speakers, but they dual speakers with Dolby Atmos built in. They did a speaker demo. Speaker demos are typically BS because there's no way that you could recreate what the speakers sound like unless you're listening to the speakers. And of course, overlaying all of this, they have their Oxygen OS, which has been very popular. It's very fast, and people seem to really enjoy it. They also announced that the OnePlus 7 Pro is going to have 2 years of guaranteed updates and 3 years of guaranteed security updates. So hopefully that makes people feel better about buying the phone. And they've introduced things like Zen mode, which is sort of limits what you can do with the phone for 20 minutes. And they also announced an upgrade to their Bullet wireless headphones, the Bullet Wireless 2, which has a 3 armature speaker design that on paper sounds like it should be very good. Multiple drivers always mean better sound, supposedly. And a 10-minute charge of the headphones gets you 10 hours of playback, which is really good. But they're selling it for $99, and at $99, I can't believe that you're really getting good headphones. At least as good as they claim them to be. So let's go through takeaways. Let's go through takeaways of what I saw in my viewing of the OnePlus event, and then we'll get my general opinion. So what was good about the OnePlus 7 Pro? It's a good-looking phone. It has the edges sort of taper down on the sides. It's basically a Galaxy S10 clone without a hole punch in it. The price is much better than the Galaxy S10. It starts at $649, goes up to $699, and then $749, and that's for the different levels of RAM. So you're looking really at an S10 phone for 2/3 the cost, unless you're talking about the S10e, which is cheaper, so it's close. And that's all with no notch and no hole punch. So all you people who don't like those things, and that's a lot of people, go ahead and get this OnePlus 7 Pro for no notch. And the display itself is 6.67 inches, which is a very nice size for a screen. Let's talk about the bad or the questionable or the not so sure. At this price point, it undercuts the S10 line, as we discussed, but with the Pixel 3a just out into the world last week, OnePlus is sitting in like a weird position, the uncomfortable middle seat on the 2019 smartphone bus. I mean, there's questions about the camera quality. No matter what their DxOMark score says, early reviews have said that the camera is a little dodgy. No IP waterproofing rating, once again. No wireless charging, which has always been a big complaint on OnePlus phones. And while they make a big deal of their warp charging, which will give you 50% in 10 minutes or something like that, I don't know what it is, people are used to wireless charging at this point, and I think leaving it out is a mistake. Once again, OnePlus leaves us with no headphone jack, having just seen the headphone jack reintroduced on the Pixel 3a. That sort of doesn't sit well with me. The Bullet Wireless 2 headphones with the triple armature design sound good on paper, but that doesn't really matter. They have to sound good in your ears, and for $99, I'm very skeptical about whether or not that will be true. With the smartphone market now having more competition in the mid-tier price range that OnePlus has vacated, can they go ahead and move up and compete with the big boys and get some market share? With some nice additions, but still some all but standard features left out at a price that puts them in the middle of two very competitive market segments, is there space for OnePlus to carve out a decent market share? I'm most familiar with the US market, and let's be honest, being on T-Mobile in the US doesn't exactly put them in front of the most people. T-Mobile is not the biggest player in the world when it comes to the US market. It's good that they're partnered with a US carrier, but they won't really be able to challenge Apple or Samsung for any kind of market share in the US until they get into more stores. So here we find OnePlus, no longer the upstart, lean and mean company that they once were that told you to never settle and had great prices. They say never settle. When you leave out things like waterproofing rating, when you leave out things like wireless charging, which are standard on most phones that are in the price range that they're working in now, they really haven't yet earned that never settle title that they so desperately want us to believe by leaving out so many of these features? Will they be able to survive as they move into this next phase of their growth? We'll see. I'm usually bullish on OnePlus phones in terms of what they bring bang for the buck, and OnePlus has priced these phones well. But will it give them the opportunity to get where it seems they want to go and challenge the Apples and Samsungs of the world? I don't know. What do you think? Did you check out the OnePlus event? Did it excite you? Did it not excite you? Are you happy? Are you sad? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd really like to have a boisterous discussion, as we always do. Let me take a quick minute to remind you, if this is your first time here and you want to come on back again and do all those kinds of things, like, subscribe, notify yourself with the bell icon, ding, 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 ding. If you've been here before, thank you ever so much. I really do appreciate it. Hashtag Wizard Squad. If you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon that I've just relaunched, and a lot of good stuff over there for very reasonable prices. For as little as $1 a month, you can be a supporter of the channel. So really appreciate it if you can to go over and check that out. If you can't, watching the videos is more than adequate. Thank you ever so much for even doing that. It's patreon.com/painfullyhonesttech if you want to go over and check that out. Now the selling's over, and I have one more thing to tell you. Just a reminder that my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.